So what's going on? Like the working class is not catching up with the Young Turks. They're catching up with Trump.
Wow, Cenk gets demolished by this really smart MAGA patriot in his own debate. And Cenk wasn't expecting Chunky Chunk, by the way. Comment Chunky Yogurt, Chunk, whatever you want to. For the algorithm, we like to make fun of Chunk here. Anyways, he did not expect to get demolished by this young MAGA guy, but oh, he did, and it's juicy. Let's watch it. By the way, wait, hold up. Make sure you like today's video, subscribe. I post 2 new videos every single day. Well, let's get into it.
Thanks for coming on. Tell me why you want to vote for Donald Trump.
Mr. Yogurt, thank you for having me.
Mr. Yogurt.
No problem.
I'm going to be honest. I enjoy seeing all the other debates, but I think we're missing some aura here, and we need to push back a little more. You keep referencing that Trump's a wannabe dictator. He wants to terminate the Constitution. You even reference the fact that Trump said there's good people on both sides. And even Anna Kasparian agrees with me here. If you're going to attack Trump, you got to attack him with real facts. And the real facts, in my opinion, is that if you're a working class American, you should favor Trump. Reality is that most billionaires that you consistently trash support Kamala Harris. Reality is that if you're a billionaire and you're not America first, tariffs hurt you much more than domestic deregulation. Reality is that most working class Americans remember the Trump years. Reality is that when you look at poll after poll, Trump is winning with Hispanic Americans. There's a plus 21% increase from 2016 to 2024. Actually, he's leading with Arab Americans. He's leading with Teamsters. 65% of Teamsters members support Trump. So the Young Turks, all of you guys love the working class, and I do too. So what's going on? Like the working class is not catching up with the Young Turks. They're catching up with Trump.
Okay, so a bunch of things there. First of all, Anna does not agree with anything you just said there, other than she says on the both sides comment, he did later say that he's against white supremacists. So I say that's plausible deniability. I don't think there was any good people on that pro-Nazi, pro-Confederate side, but we can agree to disagree on that. Okay, now in terms of supporting billionaires, Donald Trump is pretty famously supporting Elon Musk, richest man in the world, also very much supporting, and he says it in all these cases, Sheldon and Miriam Adelson. They gave him a combined about $300 million in the 3 races that he did. He says, well, I like their money, so I'm gonna do whatever they want. So he moved our embassy in Israel because Sheldon Adelson asked him to. He made corruption charges against him go away with a minimal fine when he had apparently bribed people in China. And the list goes on and on of all the corrupt things that he wants to do in favor of billionaires. So yeah, I don't see how he's any better there. Yeah, the Teamsters members, hold on. And the last thing on that, just out of the things that you mentioned, the Teamster members are slightly on Trump's side. I see that. I love the Teamsters, and I praise Sean O'Brien's speech a lot at the RNC. I thought it was the best speech out of both conventions. But on the other hand, if you're gonna say that, all the rest of the unions support Kamala Harris. So by your logic, if we're going for unions and the common guy, then you should vote for Kamala Harris.
We see a shift. We see Kamala Harris.
Wait, I'm sorry, by the way, did Chunky Yogurt just say that if you want to help the common guy, you should vote for Kamala? Are you serious, Chunky Chunk? The elitist bitch, really?
Going out with Liz Cheney, we see Kamala Harris trying to appeal to the Bush Republican, and we see Trump picking J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance, if you guys remember, he was hated by the elites. J.D. Vance talked about family policy, about tariffs. He actually sometimes argued against tax cuts. J.D. Vance is the most populist figure that we've had in a presidential ticket in a while, with Donald Trump included. The momentum is there. The working class is moving in that direction. And actually, I believe that if you want to influence our politics into a working class direction, the Republican Party is the vehicle. My argument here, and I understand, I think you have a point. When you look at different elites within the country, of course, there's 2 major parties. Some elites are going to side with one party, some with another. But have you ever noticed that the elites that rely on domestic labor are the ones that support the Republican Party? It's people that make a lot of money with oil. It's, folks that want to expand in the United States of America. Folks that don't mind the tariffs that much, the people that are arguing against Donald Trump, the people that are throwing billions against Donald Trump, are the people that are concerned with the tariffs because they're not concerned about the American people. They're not concerned about industrial policy. They don't want meaningful jobs. They don't care about people committing suicide more than ever before in our entire history, more than the Great Depression, where we were 3 times poorer back then. Why are people killing themselves so much now? Reality is that America is destroying itself, and these elites backing Democrats are the ones that are yielding this self-destruction, this self-immolation, I must say.
So that's what a solid point by this guy. I mean, it's the elites that are against the American people, and isn't like a whole thing that the Young Turks stands for supposedly is anti-elitists, but clearly they're not. And if you watched one of my previous videos where Jimmy Dore, a former TYT employee, he talks about how all of their donors and they're so big on they talk about hating corporations, yet that's who funds them. That's who's funding them. So it's quite ironic, isn't it?
Either party. But what kind of a populist says, let's give a $2 trillion tax cut to the corporations? What kind of populist says, hey, oil companies, give me $1 billion in campaign finance and I'll deregulate you, I'll give you more tax cuts. I mean, this is out and out corruption, and it has nothing to do with, it's the exact opposite of populism to give giant corporate tax cuts. How can you not see that?
You're fixating on that individual policy. And again,
yeah, it's a $2 trillion policy
within the Republican Party that agree with you here. But what I want to focus on here, which is important, is the reality is that you cannot just focus on that. You got to focus on the entire economy. If there's domestic deregulation and you incentivize domestic production, you increase the supply, therefore lowering inflation, while you focus on battling the externalization of markets in an increasingly globalized world where the world is increasingly transactional and the US is not. Every country applies tariffs, and we're one of the only countries in the world that goes, you know what? Actually, no tariffs is better. Free markets, free markets, free markets. My question is, if it's that easy, if free markets are the best, why aren't all the countries in the world doing it? Why is the US the only one that's like free markets, free markets, free markets? And reality is because the mega billionaires, actually like the Koch brothers, Bernie Sanders used to agree with me here, and I'm sure you did too. They like not having tariffs. They don't care that much about some corporate tax rates. They don't care that much about paying a little more in taxes. They make billions from externalizing labor, from making the Chinese build cheap goods. And meanwhile, Americans are jobless, they're suffering, and again, they're committing suicide in massive rates. And the people that are talking about this, the people that are actually innovating, when you read the American Conservative, the American Mind, and these publications, when you read what J.D. Vance once used to write and now talks about, they actually have a policy, they actually have a vision that looks at the complete picture. And to look at the complete picture, you must deal with the world first, not just, tax cuts. Tax cuts are not increasing tax is not the most populist policy. I would agree. I would actually argue tariffs are.
There you have it. This guy, his name is JP Villasmil. JP, very smart guy. Good for him. Destroying Cenk, Chunky Yogurt. We love that. By the way, elections coming up. Vote Trump. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. I'll see you guys next time.